Well, of course, Dusty Rhodes was linked with the beautiful Sapphire. We all know that she was hot AF. Pardon my language, guys. I just had to lower the tone to talk about sex.
You're gonna have to bleep that out.
Well, I'm sure I'll have to bleep out something that Derek's about to call her. But but just as we're on the final topic, a couple of weeks ago, there was a video that leaked of Anthony I don't know if he was on Twitch or whatever the fuck, and he was trying to log on this video game thing. And he went off on a rant about,
those people.
Yeah, the gamers with the hard ER, gamers. And it was kind of nuts that even me, with the kind of stuff that I say when I'm stuck in traffic or in the middle of sex, even I wouldn't tend to rant that way and say that shit. And it was kind of like, you're like, Anthony, what the fuck's going on here? What are you talking about? We'll start with Aaron on this because you're about to do another Compound Media show.
Look, the clip you're talking about is totally fine, and make sure you catch the latest episode of Steel Toe on Compound featuring Alex Stein. It's a wonderful episode. Ooh. And as far as the clip you're talking about, you're talking about broadcasting legend Anthony Cumia. I mean, what more can you say about the guy than immensely talented and hilarious?
Were you on his show recently at all?
Oh, absolutely. Go check out the Tuesday episode of the Anthony Cumia show. Oh, did you
guys bring up Chad at all?
It may have been mentioned. I know we started with Nazis, so we really eased into it nice and slow. But
Aaron, what's going on with our careers? Because you will get brought on with video to talk to Anthony Cumia. I had to call into Gino's show to get yelled at by Gino. Okay, I feel like I'm not doing real well right now.
I'm glad we brought that up. I was at the gym listening to Gino yesterday. I'm bragging. And I heard your appearance, and mild-mannered, cool hand Luke, fucking smiley Karl. When Gino wouldn't let you respond, correct me if I'm wrong, I heard a little bit of testy, I might fuck this headband wearing goof up, Karl, a little bit. I heard the levee start to break a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you what. We had to do WATP at 5 o'clock. He told me to call in at 3, and I hadn't completed pulling all the clips I needed from Howard Stern's interviews and Patty Seacups talking about me and Dick Masterson. So yeah, I was like in a time crunch thing, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. I think what I said to him was, if you want to just yell at me, just put a picture of me up and act like I'm there and scream at that, because I don't need to be here right now. I have shit to do.
Karl, what is going on, Karl? Because you have obviously a much bigger show than I do, and you end up calling into Gino. I end up going on video on Anthony's show, and then to make me feel even better, Gino asked me to be on today, and I had to turn him down because I had an appointment with Alex Stein. So you're right. I'm right away. But as I've seen many times in my career, these waves go up and these waves come down. And don't worry, we're due.
Karl, did he show you gay porn?
No, it was a call. Thank God.
He doesn't like you that much then.
Yeah.
He only shows he likes gay porn.
Watch out what you ask for too, because he will put a picture of you up on air and then have the mouth cut out, and you'll be saying all sorts of unfortunate things.
No, I'm aware of that.
Gino never shows Karl gay porn on the air.
Yeah, true. Yeah, or as Karl just calls it, porn. but Karl, from your perspective, because everybody knows that you have a good relationship with Anthony Cumia, the Ant-Man. But when you seen that video leak out, and we all know that he wasn't, like, he was just ranting about a video game, but did part of you think like, oh fuck, here comes a shitstorm?
What he was ranting about was Nick Fuentes. The funny thing is that it was anti-Semitic, and it was about the black people to a guy who's neither of those things. He's not Jewish or black. So that was the joke. I mean, yes, Anthony says things that I don't ever say in the privacy of my own home, and he yells them on the internet, and I wouldn't do that myself. I'm not a huge fan of that, but you got to realize that it wasn't like he was talking to a specific person who's either Jewish or black when he was doing that.
But how about this? How about the fact that Anthony was involved with Nick Fuentes, and Anthony was the anti-Semite?
Yeah, right. I know. That's what I mean. That's kind of the charm of it, people.
Yeah. I don't know. like Anthony's very upfront and honest with his opinions on those things. So like I wasn't when I watched it. I don't mean to say like Anthony's given us all like black rant fatigue, but like when you see it, you're like, yeah, that charts. That's Anthony. That sounds like a rant he would go on, and he's gone on a rant similar to that before. And he's at a point in his life where he clearly doesn't give a shit. And you notice he didn't come on and give a big apology or anything like that. It was just full steam ahead. Off we go.
What about you, Derek? Because we all know. I know I'm going to have to heavily edit this part, but when you heard Anthony go on, that video came out, did you think, "Fuck yes, I wish it was longer," or did part of you think, "Well, here comes even more cancel culture and Opie time"?
No, they can't cancel him at this point. I think at this juncture in his life, like Aaron said, he's just going to lean into it because he really doesn't care, and he's a free speech absolutist. And I kind of agree with that feeling. In place like Cozy or on his own servers and whatnot behind a paywall, he can say whatever the hell he wants. He's not a young man anymore, so more power to him. If that's the way he feels and nobody's gonna strike back at that, then he can do it.
I get really annoyed when like Anthony will say something and then for some reason people come to me and they go, "Karl, you're going to defend that? Do you agree with that?" It's like, why would you even think that for a second? You can be friends with people who have different opinions than you. It's okay to be friendly with people who politically think differently than you do.
And I think you guys made a great point when you were saying he wasn't yelling the N-word at a black person.
Right.
Doesn't that say like everything? If you're not screaming it at a black person, then it's
he doesn't play video games with black people. yeah.
What a wonderful bar we set for Anthony, though. Like, what a curve we grade him on. Like, he did not yell it at an actual black person in traffic. He's
progress.
Yeah, but if we're going to call things hate speech, but you're not actually saying it at, that's kind of the level we're at with Anthony. That is kind of the benchmark. Is he yelling it at a black person? So, well,
honestly, I don't use the R word when there's someone who actually has Down syndrome.
Exactly.
And I don't use an F slur for someone who's gay because that's not what those words are for. Those words are meant
Kevin's an F word and Chad's an R word. And they're neither of those things, but we say that to both of them. Exactly.
That's interesting. That's interesting, Karl. So how do you talk to Frank Pellegrino?
Oh,
I like Frank. I love Frank. That was low hanging. I'm sorry.
I like it.
But what about you, Stevie? Because you're sort of linked in with the Compound crowd, and but when you see that the boss of Compound had that video leak out, knowing that even though we know that he didn't mean it, that it wasn't like an attack on anyone, but at the same time, the part of you think, "Oh fuck, I'm linked with them. If I get exposed as being linked with the guy saying that shit, I'm in big trouble." Or
so that part, I can understand why it was shocking for a lot of people. Wasn't too shocking for me. What was shocking for me was just a few days later, if not a week later, his ex-co-host Opie Hughes also said that word on air.
Yes, he did.
So that was like, whoa, that one really put me, besides myself. So does that make sense?
That guy was great, by the way. That guy's in our chat a lot, and we played it, and he happened to be in the chat at the time, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I really enjoyed it. Didn't you like that, Aaron?" I'm like, "Not as much as I would have loved you throwing us $400. I mean, that would have been kind of nice. At least Opie got paid very well for his efforts."
Yes. Mr. Gurr, if you want to watch WATS today at 6 p.m., we'd love to have you.
Nicholas. You know Nicholas too, huh?
Nicholas Gurr, yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
And if Dr. Bundle of Sticks wants to donate me some money, I'll take some.